Hi, my name's Woody, and I'm a billion-dollar corporation. Times are tough these days. Sure, the economy's good. The world around me has adopted a distributive network of independent global working ability through a robust network of workers who've gotten used to handling things on their own during a global pandemic, which allows me to hire talented people worldwide from anywhere. And sure, we're making record profits after a mostly synthetic inflation wave. But it's not enough. I'd like to envision a future free of employees. You see, people are really fickle, honestly. Let's be real. They're unpredictable, they get sick, they slow down production with their concerns, they create liabilities, and they're uncomfortable to work with. Now, for all the value I put into the world, my employees, well, they can't seem to meet me where I'm at. So I'm moving forwards with a future without them. You see, over the years, we figured out how to take most of the human outputs that we need for work in the information age and synthesize them with computers. No small feat. Thank God for those engineers who we won't soon need. We'll continue to make astonishing profits and provide sweet, sweet value, but with low to no human liability. Very simple, very clean. It's going to be fantastic. What's more, I can do all this quite legally. You're wondering how I'm going to make money without employees. Well, Congress has done so very little in the face of our glorious advancing AI progress. Probably because it's so cool. Generative images are just the same way a human makes images, right? They're being transformed based on a range of experiences the computer has, the same way an artist has experiences and makes things. Generative code is written with publicly available code data that was already just sitting on GitHub for anyone to use. Generative text is made up with a whole internet worth of text data that largely probably wouldn't be construed as having much of a copyright, considering most of them aren't creative works. What? Universal basic income? What universal basic income? I'm not paying for that. If America wants to tax me, I'll just have to go somewhere else and operate there. Okay, that's good. That's good for this video. I'm good on the kayfabe. Look, here's something I want to point out about generative AI stuff. Even if it's true that it's totally legal, it's not equitable. Large corporations stand to gain the most from cutting workforces, a practice they're already participating in to enlarge their earnings projections for stockholders. I've seen a lot of arguing about generative AI and how its legality works out. I also happen to be married to someone who's functionally an expert in fair use and copyright for television. While explaining all of this is likely a separate video, I want to point something out here. Even if all of this AI stuff you see right now remains legally okay for companies to continue using, if it's fine that we accept ChatGPT and Midjourney and stuff, there's no way these tools are going to be equitable for the average person over time, or anyone who contributed to this thing we call the internet. So let's say Midjourney is fair use because it really is being transformed by so many different people that it's not really stealing from anybody. It's totally fine. Let's say it really is similar to human creativity and therefore totally fine to use. Heck, let's talk about Adobe Firefly that has an ethical image generation model, right? So it makes images based on ownership or licenses that it has from Adobe stock. Now, that stuff all comes from people who put their images in Adobe stock to be able to make money from Adobe stock. They weren't necessarily signing up to, have an AI remix all of those images so that people stop using Adobe stock, and Adobe just gets to change the agreement on them whenever they want. Otherwise, they just need to pull things out. Somehow that's ethical, I suppose. So, and also, also it's creator forward, right? It's in Photoshop. That's fine, right? Even if all of this stuff, everything we're seeing, is fine legally, it's not equitable. It never was and it's never going to be. Making tools that conventionally take the outputs of other people's job and truncate them into quick little promptable tools in a society that has no social safety net and is completely agnostic to your income source is morally bankrupt. The world where AI is an ethical one is one where you have to put on horse blinders and think about only a few selective things. Your shareholders, the technicality of copywriting, the advantages that you get, right? You have to drown out the bigger picture. And if you're feeling a little bit considerate of humanity, you just kind of hand wave and you just tell people like, oh yeah, I think we should get UBI or something wistful like that, right? So why should I care? Maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. Kind of weird of you to advertise your complete lack of empathy on the subject. I don't even really feel the need to make fun of you or convince you you're a bad person. Other people that are listening to you when you say things like, why should I care, can see right through what you're saying, and they're able to draw their own conclusions. The smartest people I know in AI are the ones who are enjoying it very quietly. They are making stuff with it, and they are not getting in shit fights on Twitter. Just to top this off, I'm not an AI. I'm a person. I made this 3D model in Blender. I made the software that I'm recording this in Unreal Engine. I'm recording it live. I'm speaking to you right now. This isn't a rendering an animated thing later. I'm someone who likes technology. I really do. I think it's super cool. And I think that both things can be true. I think intelligent people realize that two things can be true at once. And that has to do with the idea that something can be the coolest thing ever. Like, GPT is super cool. Is GPT ethical? Now that's debatable, right? But is GPT equitable? Is something truly equitable? Now that's another question.